Lucifer didn't fall because he hated God. He fell because he loved himself just a little too much. He wasn't an outsider. He was the closest. And that's the warning. You can stand in God's presence and still drift away from him. You think his fall was obvious, extreme, easy to separate from your own life. But that's not what the Bible shows. Lucifer didn't start in darkness. He was trusted, positioned, surrounded by God's presence. Nothing about him looked broken. And that's what makes this dangerous. Because the thing that made him fall doesn't look dangerous in the beginning. Isaiah 14 says, "I will ascend, I will exalt my throne, I will make myself like the Most High." That doesn't sound chaotic, it sounds focused, driven, even reasonable. And that's exactly why it's easy to miss. Because the moment everything changed was internal. The focus moved away from God and toward himself. That shift doesn't feel dramatic, it feels like clarity. Like stepping into responsibility, like finally taking control. And that's where it begins. Pride isn't loud at the start. It's quiet. You call it discipline and growth. You call it having your life together. God calls it independence. Without him, you're about to make a decision. You already sense what's right. But instead of following that first, almost sacred instinct, you start calculating. You sit there weighing options, running through outcomes, trying to outthink the risk. What makes more sense for your future? What feels safer for your reputation? What gives you the most control over how this plays out? And while it looks like wisdom, something subtle is happening. You're negotiating your way out of obedience. And the longer you stay in that space, the easier it becomes to override what God already placed in your heart. You stop being a follower and start being a manager. And the scary thing is, it feels good. It feels like you finally have your hands on the wheel. You're anticipating the curves, you're fixing things before they break. You're making life happen. On paper, everything works. In your prayer life, something goes quiet. Nothing about your life looks broken. It just slowly starts to look like you don't need God to run it anymore. You're not rejecting him. You're just choosing your own way, more often. And after a while, it stops feeling like a decision. It becomes your default. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." But slowly, that's exactly what shifts. That inner pause you used to have, the moment where you would stop and check with God, starts to fade. You move quicker, you decide faster, and it feels efficient. You don't walk away from God, you just stop involving him the same way. And that changes everything. Now look at the contrast. Lucifer was an angel who tried to become God and fell. Jesus was God, who became a servant and was lifted up. One said, "I will ascend," obsessed with his own reflection and his own glory. The other said, "Your will be done," even when that path led through suffering, surrender, and the cross. These are not just two different choices, they are two completely different directions. You cannot sit on your own throne and still follow a Savior who chose humility. You can't hold control in one hand and surrender in the other. They don't lead to the same place. And that tension doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it shows up as pressure, because now, it all depends on you. And once that becomes your mindset, everything starts shifting further. You start looking around, not because you suddenly changed as a person, but because something inside you lost its anchor. You begin measuring your worth differently, not against God, but against what you see around you. And once your value starts moving like that, it never stays stable. Ezekiel 28 gives us the diagnostic. Lucifer's heart became proud because of his beauty. Think about that. It wasn't failure that destroyed him. It was success, handled the wrong way. Pride didn't grow in his weaknesses. And that's where this gets personal. Because when things go right in your life, when you start succeeding, growing, building something, that's your most dangerous moment, because it becomes easy to trust the gift and slowly forget the one who gave it. You start relying on what works, leaning on what produces results, building your decisions around your own ability. And over time, that replaces dependence. Not loudly, quietly. You can be close to God and still drift. Lucifer wasn't far away when this started. He was in God's presence, which means proximity doesn't protect you if alignment starts to shift. You can still believe, still look the same on the outside, and internally, something is already off. Nothing around you has to collapse for something inside you to already be misaligned. Jesus said in Luke 10:18, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." The fall looked instant, but the process wasn't. It built quietly, step by step. No one wakes up and decides to fall. It happens in small moments. Moments you don't question. Moments where alignment shifts slightly. And over time, those shifts add up until distance feels normal. And once it feels normal, you stop noticing it. Everything feels clear, but it's your clarity, not God's direction. And that's what makes it dangerous, because nothing feels wrong, while everything slowly moves out of alignment. That's how Lucifer fell, not because he didn't know God, but because he stopped staying aligned. And once alignment is gone, the fall doesn't need to be forced. It follows. This isn't just a story, this is a warning, because this can happen to you without you realizing it. It's a quiet exchange. You trade trust for control. You replace dependence with certainty. And over time, you adjust to a life where God is no longer leading. The fall of Lucifer wasn't a sudden crash. It was a slow drift that ended in a fall. And right now, you're not in the fall. You're in the drift. And drift doesn't feel dramatic. It feels controlled. It feels stable. That's why people stay in it for so long. You still have the Bible nearby. You still know the words. You still look the same on the outside. But be honest, when was the last time following God actually cost you something? Where did you start relying on yourself because you got good at managing your life? Don't wait for the fall to realize you've lost alignment. Stop, check, realign.